Each week, US Bank helps us bring you stories of athletes who amaze us.
Aubrey, this week we meet Breezy Bochenek. Breezy not only survived cancer, she is thriving and now training for her first Ironman triathlon. Every day is a breezy day in this part of the San Ramon Valley. Breezy Bochenek is here every day training for her first Ironman triathlon. She finished 6 shorter triathlons, but the Ironman is something much bigger, especially for someone with just one leg.
I'm the youngest of 5, and my family was always very active, and I played soccer growing up, just like my older brothers and sisters, and I started having really bad knee pain, and I thought I had sprained it maybe, so I kept playing on it because I wanted to. But the pain got worse and worse, and I couldn't sleep through the night, and my parents knew something was wrong, so we went and got an MRI done, and they called us and told us we needed to go in, and then they told my parents and I that I had osteosarcoma, which is a rare form of bone cancer.
It was hard, especially when it's your child. You know, it's something that every parent says, I wish this could be me, but that's just not the reality. So we were in a very good position in that we had so much support around us in our extended family and this community around us, that just everybody rallied so quickly that it just took on some energy and some charge that we felt like we were going to go in the right direction and we were going to figure out how to be able to beat this.
After a family talk, there were lots of tears, but only for a short time. The family decided to take on the cancer as a team.
I was just scared that they were scared, and on the way home they were talking about telling my brothers and sisters, and I didn't want anyone to be sad. I didn't want to be the reason that anyone was sad. So I thought I would try to stay positive because I didn't want anyone to be down about what happened to me.
The big question was how to fight the cancer.
So I started chemotherapy right away, but then my dad, being a businessman, he actually made a PowerPoint presentation for me of all of my options of what I could do. And one of them, I could have saved my leg, but I would have had to have multiple surgeries and I wouldn't be able to run or swim or be active, and that's what mattered most to me. So I knew I didn't want to do that. And then he showed me a video of a woman named Sarah Reinertsen, and she was crossing the Ironman finish line in Kona. And she was the first ever above-the-knee amputee woman to do that. And I looked at her running in a prosthetic and I said, I want that. If I can be active, I don't care if I have a robot leg, that's kind of cool, I want to do that.
Sarah Reinertsen became a big part of Breezy's life. The decision was made to have Breezy's right leg removed above the knee to keep the cancer from spreading. After surgery, Sarah was there to help Breezy get through the first painful days.
Yeah, my family called her, and she actually called me before my amputation and told me that I was going to be okay. And then the day that I got home from the hospital, she was at my house and she met me and showed me her prosthetics and how she could change them and how she could run and bike. And it was really amazing for me that I never had to be scared and that I always had a mentor.
To have someone like Sarah be so generous with her time and knowledge was a huge comfort for Breezy, who was just 10 years old at that time.
It meant everything. I didn't have to wonder if I was done with sports and if I was just going to be sitting on the couch not being able to get outside and run like I wanted. She was there for me right away, and I knew that I had a full life ahead of me.
Part of the work that we do at the Challenge Athletes Foundation is really answer the question, what if or what now? And the fact that I was able to just help Breezy out in that time after her amputation, her whole family was saying, now what? And we were there to help answer that question.
The recovery from surgery was a series of victories and setbacks.
It just hurt a lot. There was a lot of healing to be had, and there were medical complications that took me back, and I just wanted to keep going forward, but that's not how it was working because we were still trying to make sure that we would save my life and before I would get back to sports.
Breezy had a goal of walking into class in 5th grade to get back to life as it was before the surgery.
I did not go through 4th grade fully, so there are some things when it comes to, missions or whatever that I don't know. But the biggest thing for me was I was able to walk into school the first day of 5th grade, which was really my goal, to be able to fully walk without crutches. And that was really amazing. They had a whole poster for me and all the kids were so excited to see me, and just being able to walk in on my own, that was really nice.
From there, life did return to normal. Breezy wanted to stay active and be involved in sports.
She probably couldn't play a sport like soccer with a prosthetic leg. What other things can she do? Triathlon was one that was right there in front of us, and so when we had this opportunity that came very quickly after getting her running leg, it was just the first thing we did. It kind of took a life of its own on, and so we were already involved a little bit in it. Now we started getting involved because of Breezy, and so then the whole family said, hey, I'm involved, and we all started doing this as kind of a healing process.
A few months after chemotherapy, when I was actually healing, I got granted a running prosthetic from the Challenge Athletes Foundation, and I was just really excited to learn how to run. But I had only had it for just a few days, and my dad had heard about this wildflower triathlon, and he asked me if I wanted to do it, and I had no idea what a triathlon really was because I was so young, so I just said, yeah, let's do it. And it ended up being so much harder than I could have imagined because we only had 10 days to train, and I had just got my running leg, so I learned how to bike, I learned how to run and swim, and we went and did it, and while it was so hard, it was super rewarding that I actually crossed the finish line, and it brought me into the triathlon world.
Breezy became involved with the Challenged Athletes Foundation. She entered events with other challenged athletes and gained a new circle of friends. She was honored with an award at a Challenged Athletes event. Her acceptance brought down the house.
And I was so young and I was afraid to give a speech, but I had just finished a play for my elementary school, and I was Ariel in The Little Mermaid. So me and my parents were talking, and we decided that I could just sing a thank you by changing the words to the song.
I want to be where the athletes are. I want to see them running, walking around on those, what do you call them? Oh, prosthetics. Now I can walk, now I can run, now I can play all day in the sun. Part of this world.
It worked out well. I think it went really fun, really adorable. Like, I just look back at it and I was so young, but everyone was really just impressed that I would get up and do that, and I think it's funny.
Now, 8 years later, Breezy is cancer-free and training for her first Ironman triathlon in November. She is comfortable with her leg and is determined to help others.
I just have known people that are amputees and they're older, but when they were children, they knew no one like them, so they were trying to hide it constantly. And what we're trying to do now, what I've always been about, is just never hiding it and always showing it, and knowing that it's cool to have a robot leg, and showing kids that it's cool, so when these young kids are getting diagnosed and they're having their legs or arms amputated, they don't feel so alone. And I've actually been really blessed to find a whole friend group, all my age, that live all across America, and we all love to be active, and we're all amputees.
Another beautiful breezy day along the San Ramon Valley foothills. Like every other day, you can find Breezy Bochenek here training for a triathlon. There is lots of pain in her past, but now cancer-free and optimistic, there are lots of breezy days ahead for this courageous young woman.
I just think about how blessed I am to be alive and to be able to do this. Especially in the beginning, when I started getting back to this, I had a few friends that passed away from osteosarcoma, and every time I would run, it was so hard, but I said I was doing it for them, and it gave me the power to keep going. So just being able to do it, to be able to go through so much pain and still reach a finish line, that just shows how lucky I am to be alive.
So as you can see, just an amazing person. I feel so privileged to have met Breezy and spent some time with her. Best of luck in the marathon, and as you go on in life, she's taking that gap year this year so that she can do the marathon in November, and she's gonna do great.
Amazing.
No matter what she does.
She's awesome.
Yeah.
I love her.
Yeah, could talk about her forever, but I won't.